Hey, and welcome back to our game of Tachyon Tech, where we are investing into the strategy of becoming the semiconductor company, sort of like an Intel, an AMD, an ARM. And when we think about our overall strategy is to become an examining semiconductor company called Tachyon Tech. You will eventually branch out to other semi products such as electronic components. We are already doing this. And we may have to drive the demand for those products through customer final products, such as computers, phones, and other consumer items. So to reach this point that we are at now, we actually spun off our previous businesses. We spun them off for 72 million at a market cap of 180. We still have shares of this company. It's called Mercados. I think my name was a little bit more sophisticated than that. Mercados Barcelona, because they're all concentrated in Barcelona. And we still have their shares. The shares are actually going down, which is not that great. If you take a look at their performance, going down, still have 60% of the company, so we want to get rid of that. So eventually, hopefully, the shares will go up. But we are in a tough spot, as through the episodes, we were making quite the profits. So our lifetime profit is going up episode after episode, reaching a very healthy level of 130 million per period of 2 years. In the last episode, we also went through 2 years, but we went down to 66 million in losses. And this is because we spun off the business. So revenues fell to a quarter. Our expenses also fell, but not in the same proportion. So our percentage of revenue dedicated towards these expenses, such as advertising and PR, went up to 7%. Very not healthy, but we actually are in a tough pickle because we do need more advertising. Training has also gone up, even though expenses went down by half. And R&D actually almost doubled. So percentage-wise, we're up to 24% of revenues dedicated to this. It's a huge cost, but we are a tech company, right? So hopefully we'll be able to transform these expenses into revenue, into profit, and make big bucks. But it takes a while, and R&D is overpowered. So the question is, can we balance everything out to deliver on the strategy? We'll have to find out. And of course, it's good to mention that we're carrying the 115 million in loans that we had prior to the spinoff. So we did make a little bit of cash, but we also carry on the debt and the R&D centers with an expansion, and that's why the R&D expenses are just off the limits. Now, there are lots of things I would like to pass on through as we navigate the businesses. And of course, we are developing the tech to produce notebooks. It's a new product technology. And it'll take 4 years, a long time, but we're already halfway through. The problem is, actually it's 4 years total, we're 2 years through. But when we look at the overall world, come into computers and look at notebooks, it's already invented. Serpentine is already dominating the market share. This product is already in the market. So we're late to the party and things are going to get difficult. And another consequence of this is that notebooks, they actually eat into the demand of desktop computers. But hopefully tablet computers, which require notebooks, will eat into the demand of notebook computers. So we can actually leapfrog them somehow, or try to fight the battle. I believe I'll try to attempt both, but I'll need some R&D centers to be freed up for this, because as you mentioned, R&D expenses are already on the limit. Hopefully we'll be able to make up for a little bit more revenue, perhaps building more stores. I think that's the best way to go about it, because we do not have the total addressable market still has room for us to grow. But we had to think, be a little bit smarter about these R&D centers. I think we're pretty inefficient. So most likely I'll have to combine certain products into a single R&D center, such as we're doing here with printers and the silicon. But there is something to be said. So silicon just began a new cycle of 2 years. I think this was in a previous episode. We still have 2 years to go, but we are splitting this and using only 3 cells for silicon. So that's pretty mild, it's timid, but of course silicon is a very small part in terms of product quality at the end of the day. Printers, on the other hand, it's still going for another 2 years. We're going to reach a healthy tech level of 104, but there's some bad news for printers. So when we think about it and look at our factories here, these two are producing into the warehouse, and the warehouse is selling the products to the consumers. And look at that chart on the top left for firm revenue. It took a steep step down. So let's take a look at the product. You'll notice exactly this. You've got competition, and the competition is selling at a better overall rating because of brands. So once again, we're being pressured on advertising, which is already a huge pressure for us. And just look at these numbers. We're in the negatives. This is I think this is an LTM number, past 12 months. But in the recent months, we are in the positive, so we can try to invest a little bit here. We may have to take some financial actions and actually take a little bit of loans here, because I'm not so sure how long we can withstand this pressure. And then, of course, we have to come to our stores and take a look at our products. So this seems a little bit healthy, but it's still a very mild market share. You see that they're dominating. We do have some catching up to do in terms of overall ratings. So I'll try to match them there, at least mildly. And that's Beijing. Let's take a look at Barcelona. You can see things are a little bit worse, and we're even losing to the average of the city and the local competitors. So local competitors clearly made a readjustment in terms of pricing. Don't need to be that aggressive. Let's try to stay on par, and with Santiago, the same thing. They actually have twice the retail power because someone else, Serpentine, is selling their products. I'll go with that. Now, this is going to be a hit to our profitability, unfortunately. Well, at least to our revenues. We'll see about profitability. Now, marketing-wise, obviously 80,000 is very low budget, and our products are carrying 0 brand in all 3 products. Even though demand is quite high, I think I will have to make the effort and invest more into this branding. And the same thing goes for Barcelona. Come here, advertising, increases, same 130, sure. And Santiago, same thing, 130. Training is still going up, but I think the solution here for this lack of supply, we all know that we need 2 sales per 1 purchasing unit. But I think the best way to go about it is actually to build new retail stores rather than duplicating units, as this is in some ways, I think, easier to manage when you have all stores just standardized. But that is another step that we'll do in the coming moments. And let's take a quick passage through the pricing of our desktop computers as they are slowly increasing. So in Santiago, we actually have a positive brand at 12. This is actually going to go up a little bit as we increase the advertising. Quality is going up, so we are actually beating them in overall rating. Don't want to go too far there. Matching, sure, it'll improve over time, so that's okay. Look at those local competitors at 38. 1,000. Can I go that high? I don't even know. Let's go with 800. That's a high brand. Barcelona is super efficient with marketing. And in Beijing, we actually have a good brand. We're being sold by Serpentine as well. Overall rating is actually not that bad. I'll try to squeeze a few more bucks. Now, when we come to Santiago, there's some things that are interesting. You'll see that this is where they're producing their printers. Look at that firm revenue, that firm profit. And if we come down here, I guess this was not. So that's the factory of printers in Barcelona. We take a quick look around. Here you have one factory of notebooks. Look at that firm revenue on the top left, and look at that firm profit. This market is super profitable. And we come down, they actually have 2 factories. And this is actually older, reaching the 5 and 4 million marks. That is incredible. So the business of notebooks is definitely interesting. I want to try to take a look at that. And the last thing to check prices for is the mobile phones. We're splitting the market with 3 retailers. Of course, one is ourselves. But I like this a lot because it helps us to get more market share. And as we have a pricing agreement with them, I'll actually increase prices and make people have a little bit more profit. As we increase our market share, I think the effectiveness of the retail stores decreases. So it's always good to be squeezing that in those locals. They're quite competitive here. So I'll put that at 200, 269. So it's a little bit lower than Barcelona. Barcelona, we do have an excellent brand rating. Here we do not. Hopefully that will improve. And as for Beijing, got 39 versus 39. Add a little bit more competitiveness. And then that's phones. So when you think about phones, another thing I'd like to take a look here. I've only got 1 factory. It's producing for everybody. It's already on the limit. We should train these guys. And we are not in internal sales, but we have all the clients in the world. And this is one tech that will eventually be surpassed by the phone, the camera phones. So if you take a look at communication devices, we have the mobile phone, which is what we're producing. And then we have the camera phone, which is up and coming. We do not have the tech yet. It will require CCDs, which is something else that we are also researching. We're on a 1-year cycle here. And as this is a very intermediate product, perhaps it will be best to squeeze this into the silicon R&D center. Maybe the electronic components as well, as we're approaching 100. Maybe the CPUs as well, even though it's our core. We want to be the Intel of the company. How can you relegate this R&D? Well, we are approaching 100. And it is very small in terms of impact in the overall product. So I think it may make sense, at least in the short term. In the long term, most definitely I'll bring these 2 guys back up to prominence. But in the short term, I may have to squeeze these R&D centers and free up some space. So if I put the CCDs down here, perhaps promote the printers to a full R&D centers, say this one for example, and we can bring in one of these down as well. We'll actually be able to bring 2 of these. So CPU and electronic components can come down, or CCD can come here, whatever. Doesn't really matter. We'll have a free R&D center, and I'll most likely use that to start tablets, to shortcut those serpentine suckers that are producing notebooks, and leave this R&D center to make the R&D of notebooks itself so that we can compete. And desktop computers is also approaching 100, so maybe I can decrease the relevance of this and squeeze in another product with this one, perhaps phones, which will not be that necessary to have. We have a monopoly, and this will be kind of surpassed by camera phones. And not only that, but we will have eventually smartphones. That requires camera phones first, but this is a whole new cycle, and if it does happen, we can R&D it there as well. So that's part of the story. The other part of the story is, well, Tachyon PCs. This is actually selling to more than one company. Supply is not managing to keep up with demand. We may have to increase this, but I think I'll first work on the retail stores and try to increase the number of them. So we do have a couple of monies there in our bank. Let's take a look at overall concentration of demand. We are very well located. So let's try to duplicate this somewhere else. We actually have a level 1 bonus, most likely because we have actually need more stores, the same store type in the same city. That's not our case. We have, of course, a specialty, and we are in a high customer traffic area. So let's try to get that bonus of having the same store in the same city. Now we do want a good level of demand. 30 is always a very good start, 33 as well. So let's try it right there. We are actually advertising as well. I think I'll actually disconnect that. And let's start giving them names. So Beijing, downtown. This is, what is this? This is a financial center. Tachyon store. Tachyon. Let's go with a simplified name. And let's just make sure that those products start to cycle in. Mobile phones as well. Take a look at those prices. Everything is nicely matched. Let's take a look at Barcelona. So we consumed not that much. That's very good. I think the natural step to this store is to perhaps sneak up onto Compass Group. Sorry, bud. That's 21, 24, 15, 18. Things really dropped down over there. Over here's a 39, but that's super close to our other store. I wonder how this actually works. 45, super close still. Let's go for a more distant store. Why not? And let's disconnect these. Let's make sure that the names are right. Tachyon. Almost dropped my drink here. Tachyon, Barcelona. What is this? It's close to the seaports. And Santiago. Now this is a very curious way to distribute a city. I'm guessing that the best location is over there. So this store is actually quite new, and it's already going to get its brother. Wow, that's a huge drop for one square from 33 to 12, plus having to destroy houses. I was not ready for that. 36, 39. Super hidden, but I think it's worth it. Let's get those names right. Santiago. Stock exchange. Seems to be the only thing that's over here, right? And the radio station. Once we're down here, this is the downtown. You got the bank, the investment bank, newspapers, information center. Call it downtown. Of course, prices are already in line. We're into the negatives, of course. Got a lot of firms running, full training, zero business. And we've got two R&Ds. So let's take a quick look at these. So CCDs, this is great. It's a 1-year cycle of a semi-product, which is not that necessary. So this is one that I will want to squeeze into here. We do have another 1 year for that. So if I go for 1 year for CCDs, I'll be able to do the swap. What else have we got? We've got mobile phones. This is less necessary, and it most likely will be squeezed up with other products. So what I can actually do is start disconnecting these. I'll go for another 1 year cycle, and I will begin a new product. I can't do that yet. I can do other products. So these products are actually quite useful. So let's take a look at what we can do. So we ask for computers. We're already researching this, but we cannot do the tablet because it requires the notebook. As for communication devices, you're doing the camera phone, and the smartphone requires the camera phone. So those guys will actually have to wait a bit, and this will have to wait 2 years, and this one will have to wait 2 years as well. I do have this coming in 6 months, and this is coming in 1 year. So perhaps joining the CPUs. Well, actually, I want the CPUs coming in here in a year. So CPUs come down here, CCDs come down here. Printers will have to go up, and that's in 1 year as well. So we've got a big 1 year cycle. What can I do with these guys for the meantime? What can we sell in the computer store? Let me take a quick look. Okay, see this here. No, I cannot. So let's do the simple build menu. The computer store. Communication devices and computers exclusively. Okay, so that's not much that I can do here actually. What shall we research? We got glass going on. We do not have glass. So let's do glass. Everything's going to be 1 year. So let's do 1 year. Is there anything else? We got silicon going. We do have silicon going. Got printers going. We could do plastics. In some way, it is something that we do use. Could do text for other companies, but that's definitely not a good use of our desperate costs with R&D, not in the short term. Could do camera. I think camera is not a good idea. Will be supplanted by new products. DVDs. There are no new products that we want to do, is there? Camcorder, compact camera, handheld game console. Let's take a look. What are the camcorders? Compact cameras. Those are interesting products. Is it photography? Camera, compact camera, and digital camera. Those are products that require electronic components and CCDs. And it could be something that we promote, but it will require a whole new specialty in retail. I'm not sure that's exactly what I want. So is there anything at 90%? There's nothing at 90%. Glass, phones, and I think I'll actually just connect this to something else. What I'll do is terminate you, throw the glass down to the bottom as this is less important, and just make it a 6-pack. I want it down. For mobile phones. Give us 15. A little bit better. So that's another 1 year cycle that's programmed, that's set up. And let's give it a little bit of time and try to see if we can get some sort of money going on, because we are in a delicate moment. And look at this. Camcorders. Tech is coming. Let's take a look at our financial actions. Stock exchange. It's not very good, but it's going a little bit up. That's good. I'm actually going to take the chance and sell another 5%. Down to 55%. That'll help us with the money. We're actually quite comfortable. But let's keep an eye, make sure that these retail stores improve. So this one is going up. It's a little bit in the profit zone already. This guy here is in the break even, which is quite surprising for its infancy. Take a look at Barcelona. This one here is pretty good, making its profit. This one's already in the green. Quite surprising. Take a look at Santiago, our old store. Not doing that great. Why is that? This is the one that's paying the price for advertising. We are improving quality, but have to keep an eye on that. Still too soon. Printers have gone down dramatically, but brand picking up 14. Our rating will increase over time. Most likely that they will start to decrease prices to make up for it. So I'm actually going to show that I am not that aggressive. Yep, we have adjustments, but their brand rating is going up as well. It's good. Tough competition in Santiago. Printers, who would have guessed it, that this would be my headache. 56 overall rating for the locals. Everybody's balanced out here. Hopefully brand rating will increase. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's take a look. That's Santiago. How's the other store doing? Almost on the positive. And as for Beijing, everyone's paying for the advertising. Doing pretty good actually. And there we have electronic components. Let's take a look at our R&D centers. So we're up to 92. This is a very comfortable position, especially for a product that's a semi-product. Our factory is right here. Lots of customers, plenty of supply, which is great. Still training a little bit. How are you doing? 0 revenue. See, you want to buy mine. What's your quality? 28. What's my quality? Selling at 79, but manufacturer? Oh, it's 79. I guess tech didn't reach it yet. But we got their 2-year cycle. We will want to push this down. These guys are almost there. 6 more months. So I think I'll actually push for a 6-month cycle. Get an extra 5. Sure. Of course, we're not at 100 yet. But yeah, so look at the numbers. They're back into the green, so slightly. So I am actually going to take a moment and refresh where we are at, see if we have any signs of recovery. So our company is right here. We took this huge dip as we spun off all those businesses, and Hipermercados Barcelona was born. But things are still not easy at all. Business relations, still have great relations with our spun off company. Our lifetime trade is actually not as high as other companies. That's interesting. But as for our details, let's take a quick look. Hold on. Yeah, we're definitely not number 1 in revenues and profits. Compass is very good. Serpentine is excellent. Eternal Motion, really? I don't even know what they do. What do they do? They're diversified. What products do you make? It's a lot. They're all over the place. Truly diversified. Okay, point taken. As for our products, desktop computers is a huge cash cow. Mobile phones as well. They're selling to the whole world. Makes sense. Printers, definitely not shiny anymore. And of course, semi-products that are almost as good as the printers. So printers, it's a huge point of preoccupation. I think the promotion of printers to a dedicated R&D center will be essential. To see the product, it's just one product, but I think it's important. So as for revenue, of course, we took the huge dip, but we're going up. Expenses as well. Operating profit back into the green, thank goodness. Net profit, still not quite there yet. Our net worth is going down as a consequence. Our own stocks are down to 55%. Let's take a quick look at our balance sheet, our income statement. not much to be seen there as is. And as for our technology, we are approaching 100 in many of them. So we are definitely halfway there in most cases. But when you look at our target techs, we're approaching 100 in 1, 2, 3, and 4 products. That's excellent. Advertising went up, so brand rating is also going up. That's important. Our strategy here is unique. Dominance, we are 9th in retail, 6th in manufacturing, not that great, but 1st in communication devices, most specifically mobile phones, 1st in whole product class. That's good. And as for the computers, we're 1st in desktop, but 2nd to the class because of printers. Printers is a huge, huge thing. And this is how we go in terms of rankings. I'm going to take a quick look at Hipermercados Barcelona to make sure that things are not that bad, but they're back in the green. That's good. I'm looking at 3-year chart here, so it's a little bit more nervous, but it shows that this is where we lost share price. Hopefully they will maintain themselves in the green, so improve. Revenues are improving, profits are improving. That's very good because we have 55% of the company. We have to make sure that we can sell the shares, which is my original plan, at a good, fair, decent price. So that's about it. So I'm pretty glad that we were able to make the turnaround and have a little bit more organizing to do with R&D, but that's for another episode. So I'll see you then. Oh, and before we go, of course, we do need to remember who we are. So hopefully I'll just introduce you to our branding training program.